for, I've been looking for higher love.
Greetings. So today I'm doing something different. Welcome, beautiful souls, to Kamsen Untamed Oracle. I want to go into the magical world of being an empath, specifically speaking about the Heyoka empath. Now, this empath is really different, and it's something that I've been sitting on for a little while. So we're going to discuss some ways that you can identify if you're this specific spice of empath, how to protect yourself, and what to expect from going through awakening as an empath. So Heyoka can also be spelled Heyoka or Kha. It's derived from the Lakota word meaning fool or sacred clown. And this could help add some clarity to what this means. I'm going to try to put this in context that makes sense. So this is connected to the indigenous, the Native Americans, okay? This whole mythology and the experience of this. So we're super connected to the universe, number one, deeply connected, okay? Number two, we not only feel other people's emotions, but we reflect those emotions. We reflect others' behaviors. And sometimes we can be a little bit sarcastic. Our humor is more so like satire. And the purpose of the Heyoka empath is to be able to be a mirror for others, the positive and the negative. Sometimes we go through bullying as children when we don't know this is who we are and this is how our energy impacts people. That includes kids and our teachers. So here are a few more signs, okay, to see if this is something that resonates with you. One thing is, I am a dream walker. So I dream dreams, I lucid dream, astral travel really easily, and I remember it. And I have a lot of dreams about thunder. And this is another one of those signs. Sometimes you might dream about thunder or thunderstorms. And this is connected to the Thunderbird as well, which is connected to the Heyoka empaths. Now, some other things that I can get into more would be the ability to reflect behaviors of others and their traits. You're doing this to promote healing, but most of the time people don't take it this way. Another term that's used for this is pain eaters. So we tend to absorb the pain of others. We have a really strong sense of intuition. It's a gut feeling, even at things that are happening at a distance, far away from us. We can sense what's happening with someone, no matter where they are. So this is another unique attribute to being a Heyoka empath. We have the ability to know how someone is feeling without being physically present with them. So this is why we make great Reiki healers. Heyoka empaths have it like this strange to other people sense of humor, because it could be provoking. We laugh through the hard times. We find humor in difficulty. This is a very powerful tool for emotional and spiritual wellness, but sometimes people do not feel this way when they are interacting with us. Now, if you're reflecting these traits and you're a woman on top of this, that moon energy is highly reflective as well. So this actually amplifies your ability to reflect someone's traits, especially the subconscious, unconscious ones. Those tend to be the ones that create difficulties in our relationships. Heyoka empaths, we have this love for humor. Humor is a healing tool for us. It's something that we need. But there are times where it may not seem acceptable to be cracking jokes or making light of situations. But again, this is the way we transmutate. Now, not only do we have this huge sense of knowing, but this can lead to insomnia, because even if we're sleeping, laying alone, we're still able to pick up on the energy of others even while we're sleeping. And a great example of this would be me and my partner don't sleep together unless we have talked about it and we plan to sleep together for many different reasons. But one of those reasons is because of me being a Heyokha empath. I'm super sensitive to his pain and things that he's feeling. So he may be in a deep sleep, but it will keep me from falling asleep. Another sign is that the way you express yourself oftentimes is impacted by the emotions of others around you. And again, this is not always intentional. Sometimes this is just a very unconscious way that we interact with our world and with people in our world. And if people don't have an understanding or are able to have compassion and sympathy for what it's like to be an empath, then our coping mechanisms and some of those spiritual traits may be annoying to them, upsetting, frustrating, and sometimes it could lead to people not being able to be together anymore. And I believe a lot of people going through the ascension process are different types of empaths. This is just one that stood out to me because it's one that I recognize that I am, but I haven't really talked about it. But this is why we're having a lot of relationship back and forth, up and down. We're discovering these parts of ourselves. Now, we have a tendency to be disruptive, and it's not intentional, okay? Again, if someone has an unconscious energy about themselves that they are completely unaware of, is in a blind spot, let's just say they have narcissistic qualities, we may begin to reflect those narcissistic qualities, even though we don't have narcissistic traits in that way, just to bring them on a healing journey to see themselves. Heyokha empaths are great judge of characters as well. We typically are very keen on the subtle nuances of people's character. And it's difficult to wear a mask around us. And this can be something that also is uncomfortable for other people. The way that we perceive people is in a much deeper way than the average person. We also have this predictive premonition-like ability. So we can anticipate other people's words, their responses. We can even anticipate how people are going to respond to certain conversations or certain things that we would like to talk about. And this could lead to us not talking about certain things because we have already predicted that the outcome of this conversation may not be something that feels calm or is healthy for us. So we can sometimes lean towards being people pleasers and walk on eggshells and become codependent, trying to keep the peace. We are also really good at solving problems. And because of this, how interesting, we attract people who oftentimes have problems that are rooted in unconsciousness. And sometimes the attraction to those people is because of a wound that they have, and we're drawn to that. We want to help them heal and work through that. And this is the reason that training is necessary and learning certain strategies for navigating life and your relationships, because without this, it can lead to things that are very detrimental to our health and well-being. Now, Heyokha empaths have been revered as spiritual teachers, as shamans, as powerful people within communities. And in the Lakota culture, they are believed to be chosen by the great thunder god as awakeners. But they first must undergo their own awakening. And I do believe the Heyokha awakening is happening on a collective level. And a lot of us are realizing the simulations that we live in, that I call the trauma reenactments, right? The holographic love that we have been participating in, where we have worn masks, allowed people to wear masks because it's more comfortable for us. Because we're empaths, we don't like to be emotionally uncomfortable, emotionally overwhelmed, and we also are uncomfortable around people that have a difficult time regulating their own emotions. Now, there's a twin flame connection to this. Again, Twin flames is about transformation that occurs through partnerships where two people reflect each other's emotional states, their deeper inner child wounds, the unconscious, subconscious patterns that perpetuate suffering. And so this is a crucial thing to know, for me to know about myself as a twin flame, because it had become so painful for me going through the journey where I really didn't know how to function, and there wasn't any books or anybody that I knew I could go to for advice. So with that being said, if you identify someone who has had a twin flame experience, there are high chances that you are a Heyoka empath as well. Now, we can also attract people with high narcissistic traits. So I'm not diagnosing people as narcissists, but because of the laws of the universe, because like attracts like, because there is this pendulum swing within the universe, there's a causal realm and an effect realm. What happens is we oftentimes attract people that are very opposite of us. So if we have a tendency to be codependent and people pleasers, we will attract people that have narcissistic traits, that feel entitled. Oftentimes people who have deep wounds and they haven't learned how to love these aspects of themselves and be with that pain. It creates a void within them, and they are drawn to people who are caring, who are compassionate, who are empathic, who care about other people. They tend to be drawn to people who have strong intuition because they may have a difficult time communicating how they feel. So if someone can have a premonition or predict how they're going to feel, this would seem like the ideal person to be in a relationship with on many different levels. Some of the things that can happen as a result of this is that we don't feel safe to fully be ourselves, and we may not always feel safe to fully express ourselves. We may feel this as if we're always walking on thin ice, if we have been attracting people in our unconsciousness, not knowing certain things about ourselves. And I think that a lot of feminines on the planet right now are experiencing this. This could be difficult for those of us who are in relationship with our partners because, again, even though we don't like to be uncomfortable and we don't like to see other people emotionally suffer, sometimes as pain eaters, we will eat that pain and continue to absorb that from them until it gets to the point where it is severely incapacitating us in certain areas of our lives. And this could cause shame and guilt in our partners because they may feel invalidated by us going through this Heyokha empath awakening, along with the ascension beyond the genetic traumas that chosen ones are here to end. Due to the things that I have mentioned here, and I listed about 20 signs and traits of being a Heyokha empath. But without honesty, without transparency, we do not thrive. This is like water to a living being. We need this to thrive. If we have been absorbing pain from others most of our lives, oftentimes beginning with our parents, a lot of times we have soul contracts, and our Akashic record contains the contract where we chose parents with traits that would allow us to go through this journey. Oftentimes, parents have a difficult time with children with this particular gift because they're going to be unmasked. They're going to be called out even when we're not trying to. And before we are indoctrinated, conditioned, and forced to assimilate to try to be what others expect for us to be, or be what others are comfortable with us being. As children, we would just say stuff, and it may be a painful truth that our parents were not ready to hear or wanted to face. And so this led to a lot of compartmentalization, where different aspects of ourselves were repressed and hidden. We learned how to be what others expected of us. The humorous side of me is actually a part of me that made people feel like I was a smart ass and I thought that I was better than them, and it made people uncomfortable. So that part of me was something that I felt like it wasn't okay, and so I hid this aspect of myself. Try to anyway. It's almost impossible for me to suppress this aspect of me, and honestly, I sat on this information for this long because the pain of discovering this has lingered, and it's something that I am still working through today. So I have shared my entire spiritual ascension journey with the world in a very transparent way, which was one of the most difficult things to do, especially for somebody who was often the black sheep, often the scapegoat, oftentimes the martyr, oftentimes the one who tried to be hyper responsible to make up for the things that were not being taken care of. I'm someone who was parentified, and I had to grow up faster than other kids, and I had to learn how to take care of children. I had to learn how to provide, to be able to just have basic things for myself. I wasn't always in one person's custody. I didn't always have somewhere to stay. There were times where I was homeless. I was great with academics, but when it came to the emotional side of this reality, it was painful for me. Every day felt like I was walking on fire. Literally, I felt like a fire walker every day of my life. And today, actually, there's a new moon in Gemini, and I felt like this would be a great energy to support me sharing this. For some odd reason, my channel does not grow past 13,000 subscribers as of 2024. So if this information resonated with you, spoke to you, leave me a comment. Let me know. Like, what spoke to you the most? What was your biggest takeaway? And for those of you who are open to sharing this content, share my content. You can even mirror this content and re-upload this content if you would like to. Just add Campson Untamed Oracle in there, because we have to help each other as we're helping ourselves if we expect to have a world of 5D love-based communities. And whether this resonated with you or not, maybe you're in a relationship with someone who has these traits, or maybe you have children who have these traits. Whatever it may be, if something spoke to you, share that. So I'm going to be talking more about different aspects of what I have discovered in my ascension journey, and in doing readings and working one-on-one and group coaching, mentorships with thousands of people all across the world. The things that I have learned and discovered have been so transformative for me, and for others that I have worked with. So I am taking all of this information centered around the spiritual ascension, centered around navigating relationships, love after trauma, love after becoming aware of certain traumas, centered around codependency, the ways that we people please, the ways that we do not love and take care of ourselves, the fear that is so deep rooted in the feminine about living out loud. The feminine right now is going through this transmutation, and this alchemical experience it can be painful. And I know that I've used that word a lot of times, but it is what it is, and there is power in the pain. There is purpose in the pain. And so I don't feel that it's beneficial for us to distract ourselves all the time and spiritually bypass from it. I feel that the most useful thing is for us to learn how to be alchemists. And I will be having more, that I'm going to be doing, and unique things. As you can see, I'm not allowing anything to box me in. And sometimes that does mean less money, because I'm standing on integrity, moving in alignment with what my spirit is telling me is the most beneficial thing for me to do. And sometimes people are expecting something in particular from Campson the Untamed Oracle based on the past, but I'm being led another direction. It takes courage to do that, and I stand on that. I will not stop doing that. And at some point, things will align, and I won't have to accept less money to do what I know I'm here to do, and I will be reciprocated for that. For those of you that I have worked with, and you have said to me, you gave me even more than I was expecting from you, and I want to donate to you. I want to give back. I just wanted to tell you thank you so much. I appreciate that. It really does allow me to continue doing what I'm doing. So soon I'm going to be having something new that I will be launching, so stay tuned for that. If you want to learn more about anything within this conversation, anything within the conversation of me also being a sibling prophet, a white galactic wizard, a manifesting generator, a martyr heretic, all of these different aspects of myself is oftentimes a mirror for aspects of people who find me and who resonate. And if I was to give you one last thing, it would be use the power of visualization, use the power of talismans and spirituality to protect you on this journey. You are one of the most important pieces to this puzzle. And so we have in our shop, we have different things that you can use for this, where you don't really have to do much but wear it, like this third eye bracelet that I'm wearing now. And this has selenite. This also has black opal, shungite, clear quartz. This also has lapis lazuli. And all of these crystals, they are very supportive for anyone who is going through this ascension journey. I also have one of my most favorites, which is this Hamsa, also called a Kamsa. Ironically, it's spelled with the K-H-A, just like Heyoka, which can be spelled K-H-A instead of K-A. And so these are some of the things that I find that help me to understand myself and how I can be of service to others in a way to help people reach a higher potential. So protection is really, really important for me. And I don't always want to have to talk about it. So I can just visualize, use my third eye. My third eye is being protected from evil eye energy. Use my talismans. This is available on the website as well. And this one is made out of tiger's eye. Tiger's eye is really good for protection. So with these different things that I use, it allows me to operate without eating so much of the pain. And because in the world right now so much is happening and fear is being used to keep us stuck, to try to slow down and even stop and hinder the awakening, the ascension process that is occurring, this is the time now for you to actually invest in having these things to support you. This is not the time to complain about they and what's happening in the world but do nothing. If you find yourself getting frustrated, if you find yourself getting depressed, sad, anxious, having panic attacks, if you find yourself just feeling stuck in life, it's time for you to do something different. It's time for you to do something new. Maybe it's time for you to be more dedicated to loving yourself And it's so important for all forms of empaths to dedicate and invest a lot of their time and energy into self-love. And if you are a chosen one who is breaking generational patterns within your bloodline lineages, even the more so, you want to use these things. So I went over a little bit, but it was my honor to be able to talk about these things. And, you know, I'm more untamed on Patreon. I can say more and share more and give y'all more information. So make sure that you check out all of the links in the description. You can become an NVIP, and we will continue on this journey, and let's just see. And I'm thinking about starting a new channel. Since this channel got to 13,000, it's been stuck there for 4 years, which is strange, but you know, it is what it is. I'm thinking about starting a new channel, so I would like for you all to subscribe to that new channel. I'm going to put that link in the description. I will put it on the community page, and I will send it out in the email newsletter when I start to post there. But for those of you who like to dive deep and want to swim deeper, become an NVIP. You will not regret the $1 donation or more a month. It is over 300 posts of information that is being shadow banned and suppressed everywhere. And with, you know, it's so important that we actually give our attention to the truth, to seeking the truth. All right. Namaste, namaste. Peace, one love, Ashe. Man, your third eye just been kissed. You already know what it is. See, just a little bit of the humor. I got a whole comedy show on Patreon. Just scroll back and check it out. I'll do another eventually, but I really am working on accepting these parts of myself. And if I do say so myself, I'm fucking hilarious when I'm not trying to be. And I think the first thing that we're going to talk about in a humorous way to lighten the load of going through the ascension process is the fact that we're living in a country where most toxins that will shut down our capacity to be our divine selves is legal. Yeah, that's the country that we live in. And, you know, if you happen to be here in the States, that just speaks to how phenomenal you are, that you were just like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and sign up to live in the country that's going to do this to its citizens. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And if you did that and you happen to be here, no matter what you're going through, it means that you have the strength, you have the resilience, you have the courage, you have the tools, you have everything that you need within you to overcome this. I'm right in the middle of this warfare in more ways than one. And I'm continuing to find keys for power and empowerment to others. And I'm not going to hold any of that back. Y'all already know. And speaking of which, check out Patreon. I've said it once, I've said it twice, and I'm saying it a third time. Check it out, because I want you to know the truth, whatever that may be. And it is heavy sometimes, but sometimes you have to make lemonade out of the lemons, okay? Don't use sugar. That's another one of those conversations. A lot of us are neurospicy because of sugar, but that's another conversation for another time. But if it's been feeling heavy, lean into the humor of the fact that you signed up to have these experiences. It really is humorous. And it hurts, but it's funny too. And the comedies that we usually like the most are the ones where people are making light of shit that we have experienced. And it ain't funny when you're going through it, but in hindsight, when you watch it, it's hilarious. And one of those shows I'm going to recommend, my divine self got me kind of all over the place right now. I know the video is supposed to end, and I know I'm supposed to follow some type of, you know, content creation guidance, whatever. It is what it is. But watch Wanderlust. WANDER Lust. I think I'm spelling it right. But watch that, okay? I think this is probably going to make your ascension journey lighter, and that's your homework assignment. Yeah, to watch something that is hilarious yet holds a lot of truth of what many of us have experienced. Okay, now I can say namaste, new me stay, one love, Ashe.